Memorial Day, May 31st, 2021. What do you remember about that day?
That day was pretty remarkable. I got up, I had a couple $1,000s more I had to do to cross that million, and I just felt like that was the day. So a couple people came in, they were just looking, and some of them landed on a couple stuff. I think it was $100 away at some point, and then cancellation came down. So it was just a whole whirlwind, but I had this amazing family come in, and I knew they were the ones. I knew they were the ones that just were going to put me over. So it was a great feeling.
Join Charlie Maloof as he explores the personal journeys of Broad River Retail's very own memory makers. Welcome to Stories from the River.
I'm here with Leah Hayes. This is Charlie Maloof from Stories from the River. Leah Hayes she's got a lot of titles: home furnishings expert, sales manager, $2 million memory maker, and she crossed the $1 million mark last year in 5 months on Memorial Day, May 31st. And so we're going to get started with going through our questions and getting to know you a little bit better. Leah, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thanks for taking time on your day off to drive down. And
of course. You
drove down in what again?
So I drove down in a brand new Explorer.
Wow.
Yeah, this great company just gave it to me.
Yeah, it sounds like a really great company. What did you do to get by the way, I love a Ford Explorer. I've had several. And yours is beautiful. How did you get the Ford Explorer?
Well, I talked with Manny back and forth, and I love an SUV. I have a Jeep Wrangler now. And he actually said, we can get you a Jeep. And I was like, well, I got that. But we went back and forth, and the Explorers were available, and it is amazing. It is a smooth ride. It's got the heated seats. It's got it all. So, yeah.
Because when you write $2 million and you have the type of year, we're getting you a new car.
Right? It was amazing.
We're going to get into it. Okay, let's take a step back.
Yes.
Before you joined the River in April 2018, what'd you do?
So I was actually a general manager for Ann Inc. So Ann Taylor Loft. I was there for 10 years, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it, but it was just time for a change.
Okay.
So.
And you were in Durham at the South Point store?
Yes. I actually traveled all over with them. I was in Fayetteville for a little while. I actually, before that, was in some other states. But yes, ventured back to Durham, where I'm from, and ran the one at South Point.
Did you always love retail or think that you'd be in retail?
I didn't. I actually wanted to be an anchor woman. I wanted to be on the front lines at the football games.
Wow.
That did not work. And so I got into retail, and it was supposed to be part-time, and I just grew from there, and I fell in love with it.
Awesome. Well, we're glad that you're still in love with it and joined us.
Absolutely.
I tend to believe that everyone remembers their first day.
Yes.
Now, yours wasn't that long ago, although in COVID years it might be 8 years instead of 4 years.
Yeah.
What do you remember about your first day? It was in Durham, New Hope, right?
It was.
Okay.
So my first day was really nerve-wracking. I was extremely excited about this new career move, but at the same time I wasn't really familiar with the furniture industry. But when I came into the Durham store, I walked right in the front door, and there was Kevin Carlson and Randy Shepard and Ben Gamble all going, "Don't ever walk through the front door again." So I quickly learned from that day on, go use the side door.
And why is that? Tell our audience why you can't use the front door.
Yeah, so it is very important that you go through the side door if you're not purchasing, because there is a traffic counter, and you want to make sure that all the metrics are still on point.
That's right. Or you have to buy something.
Or you have to buy something.
That's
exactly.
Right. Leah, what made you want to leave a career where you were running a top store, traveling around, having tremendous success, and start on the bottom rung as an HFA for us?
Yeah, I just think it's really important. I did the same thing with Ann Inc. When I started. I was, part-time, just salesperson, but I really want to learn all of the aspects of the business. I think in order to be a great GM or even sales manager, you need to know what it takes to get there, and you got to start with the basics. So
that's great. Just to you had that confidence in yourself that you could learn the business and take your time and success would then follow.
Yes.
And it
absolutely.
has.
It has, yes. It wasn't long before I got promoted after that.
No, we wanted it to happen a lot faster, if I recall.
Yes.
Our organizational purpose is furnishing life's best memories. Other than Memorial Day of last year,
Yes.
what has been or what have been one of your best memories at the river?
So there's just so many. There are a couple that really stand out, but I think to answer this question fairly and in the best way would just be to see the people's faces when you get them approved through our financing programs. It is really life-changing for them, whether it's a new couple or moving into their first home, or people that are downsizing and moving into smaller places, and people that don't think that they will get the credit that they need, and they do. That's my favorite moment.
So you really like those guest surprise, like just helping them fulfill their dreams.
Absolutely.
Love it. We have to talk about 2021.
Okay.
We have to. Let's spend some time there.
Okay.
Did you see it coming?
I did not.
How did it happen?
Absolutely not.
Like, how did 2.12 million or whatever the final tally was, it was over 2.1.
Yes.
What was your mindset throughout the year? How did that happen?
So, January was a normal month. It was, you were making the sales that you were on track to make, but February really popped off. We just had President's Day. The traffic was extremely high. The energy was good. We had, it was in the midst of this pandemic, and it was a new year. And I'll never forget, Antoine Blackwell sent me that email in the beginning of the year and said, "Hey, let's go, partner. Let's go toe to toe." And it's like, let's go. Here we go, Antoine. So that was a lot of fun. I have a very competitive nature, and going up against that was exciting.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't know is Antoine works in one of our Charlotte area
He does.
stores.
We
And so-
actually had only met once before
Really?
then. Mm-hmm.
But we have this collaboration amongst sales managers or key
Yes.
leaders or key producers, and just challenging. And I think competition gets a bad rap anyways.
No, not at all. I mean, I agree it does, but it shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't.
No.
The root the etymology of the word competition comes from the Latin word competere, which means to strive together.
I think I have heard you say that, and it's absolutely true.
Yeah, I think it's
That's
true.
what really pushed me this year.
Okay, so then fast forward to Black Friday weekend,
Yes.
Sunday,
Yes.
and you had your Roger Bannister moment. It had never been done before.
Yeah.
You crossed the $2 million mark. First of all, you crossed $1 million faster than anyone ever had. Then you crossed $2 million, on the Sunday of Black Friday weekend, faster than everyone had ever done before. And then just a couple hours later,
Yes.
on the same day, Frank crossed as well. You were like the Pacesetter. I should put that as one of your titles as well, the Pacesetter. So tell us about that day.
Yeah, that day, it was actually that whole weekend. I was really hoping to cross that Friday, and so when it didn't happen, I knew it was going to be a long weekend. So when that Sunday came up, and I was just a couple thousand away, and I knew Frank was only a couple thousand, so it was on. But I was so excited that it happened the same day, because it truly shows that it's not just one type of salesperson that can do this. Frank and I are extremely different. We have a passion for this industry, but our sales techniques are a little different, and we work in completely different areas. So I loved that it was able to show that anyone can really do this.
That's so cool. What did it feel like to cross the $2 million mark?
I felt like I was floating. I honestly did. I remember FaceTiming my parents and saying I did it, and I had a little tear, and they were, screaming and yelling in the phone, and I just felt like a weight was lifted off. I felt like I finally achieved it.
I know that when you go after an annual goal like that, there's always going to be ups and downs or moments of doubt or moments to where resilience has to kick in.
Yeah.
How did you stay focused and remain resilient throughout the entire year to achieve this monstrous result?
Yeah. You just really have to focus on who's coming in your door and your follow-up and your, the guests that you're working with. You can't worry about the deliveries or the things that might come up that would derail you. You just have to focus on that selling, and you just have to be in the moment with them.
I have to ask, Leah, all last year we're wearing masks, right?
Yeah.
How was selling with a
Yeah.
mask covering your face?
It's-
What if I do this podcast with a mask?
I know.
It would be impossible.
I was actually surprised when I took the mask off just recently when they got lifted. I was like, oh, maybe I should put it back on, because I got a couple no's in the beginning. But
salespeople are superstitious,
yeah,
right?
very superstitious. But no, I feel like having that mask, you really had to connect a little bit better a little bit more in the beginning because it's hard to understand and it's hard to see facial expressions. It's hard to read your guest sometimes when you ask them a question, you can't really fill out if they like it or if they don't. So you really have to listen to what they're saying.
Okay. But going back through the whole entirety of the year, what do you think helped you remain committed?
I think once you get started on this goal and on this path, it's hard to not be committed to it because you see that it's never been done. You want to make that difference. You want to pave the way. And when you get that far into it, it's kind of hard to back out. You know people are watching. You know people. I was getting emails constantly with encouragement and motivation. And you don't want to let anybody down at that point. So it's some pressure, but it gets you through it.
So sometimes the first step towards the direction is the most important step, and then you just build resilience along the way with each progression.
Exactly.
When did 2 million become the goal?
Actually in February. I set that goal for Memorial Day, the $1 million mark in Memorial Day, and then I set the Black Friday for 2 million. So I saw it.
Okay, and so you had some, let's transition to, sure. I love you saw it in February and then you manifested that to happen. Let's go into Jackpots.
Yes.
You're a big fan of Jackpots.
I love Jackpots.
how we love our annual Jackpot bonuses too, right? We have commissions, we have monthly bonuses, we have peak tentpole weekend contests,
right.
But then we have the annual jackpot bonuses. Yeah. How much do you think those impact you or our retail gladiators to achieve peak performance?
Yeah, that honestly, it wasn't on my mind in February. But then I started thinking about it and I was like, could I really be getting a car? And that was about when I crossed in the $1 million mark in Memorial Day. But just to know that that was a possibility kept me going as well. I mean, when you're talking about a jackpot bonus, as much as that was, it's pretty exciting. It's surreal. You don't really think it's going to happen, but you want it to. So that's going to push you even further.
That's awesome. So you've got the car, but
yes.
You also got some nice cash.
I did. Yes.
Okay, so do you have any fun activities, or have you already deployed the cash? What are we doing with the jackpot cash?
So my goal, big jackpot, or my personal goal was to get a place at the beach. My sister and my 2 nephews live down there, so I've been trying to make a way down there for a while, and this just really gave me the means to do it. So I signed the paperwork in January, and as soon as that check went into the bank account, put half of it in savings and half towards my dream place. So I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you've got a beach house now.
Yes, it's amazing.
That's fantastic. Okay, switching gears. I just love talking about jackpot bonuses.
I do too.
And I love seeing people have tremendous success. Obviously you do.
I love it.
Yeah. So since you've been a memory maker here at the River, what is something that has surprised you about yourself?
One, how competitive I can be. I know that I am extremely competitive, but not this type of competitive. This was such a good level because I wanted everyone around me to succeed and do it with me. So like when I was pulling for Frank, and when actually when he passed me the last week of the year, I finally was a little relieved. I was like, okay, like here we go. Now we got the back half, now I got the last week. But yeah, that and just the focus that I was able to do. I was very surprised that I was that focused.
When you joined us 4 years ago, did you expect to achieve this level of success with the company?
Never in a million years. I love to tell this story that on my first week on the sales floor, I beat Randy Shepard. And
I think I remember that.
And so I printed out the HFC sheet for the week and I put it on my clipboard, and I still have it to this day. I use it every single day, and every time I remind myself, you can do this. If it's an off day or if something's going wrong, he hates it, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, I never would have dreamt it would have gotten this great. But yeah, it's such a good company to work for that they enabled me to do that.
Your perspective is just so powerful. Premier performance differentiation. What do you think differentiates your level of performance from your fellow memory makers in retail sales?
So I think when you're on the sales floor, it's very mental. It's a mental game.
I agree.
Yeah, it is. And you have to be in a positive mindset, and you have to stay in work mode is what I call it. So whether it's following up with guests or making phone calls for a private event or checking on deliveries, I mean, there's always something to do. And when you're in that mode, it's easy to transition to when a guest comes in and wants to shop, because you're able to easily just go wherever they need you to.
I love that phrase, work mode. You know, Frank talked, we had him on a few weeks ago, and he talked very similarly about staying focused while you're at work, not getting distracted. So we're hearing some similarities now.
Yeah.
Staying focused and staying in, like, as you call it, work mode. I love that. How important is goal setting?
Oh, it's extremely important. You have to be, realistic. You don't want to disappoint yourself, but when you set a goal like this one and you know it can be achieved, then it means everything in the world. It's very much a sense of accomplishment.
So everyone wants to know, what is your goal, or what are your goals for 2022? What do you do for an encore?
So 2.1 is a lot of work, and it's very exhausting at times, but I would love to be able to do 2.2. This year, in the last month, I was kind of going back and forth with this new place. So now that I've got that ready, Frank, I'm coming for you, and because you're having a really great year so far. But yeah, I think 2.2 is in the books.
What's a long year? By the way, as you know, 2022 is a 53-week year.
Yes,
so
it is. That extra week is going to help.
It's definitely. What's next for you with Broad River Retail? What do you foresee on the horizon for your career?
Yeah. Right now I really enjoy the sales manager role. I feel like it's, you get the management side and the teaching side, plus you get the sales and the interaction with the guest. So for this year, I'm going to try and hit that goal and then see what 2023 brings.
Okay, love it. I've got an icebreaker question for you. I like to ask this question. I think it's a good way to know someone and get to know them. So when you're done pursuing and chasing goals and you're hanging out with your feet off your patio at the beach, and you look back at your career and you think about how you want people to think about you, how you want to be described, what 3 words come to mind?
So I want people to know that I'm genuine. I'm not, especially in sales, sometimes it's hard to think of your salesperson as being genuine, but I do want the best for everyone around me. And integrity is really important to me. I feel like it says a lot about you when you can say that you make the right decisions and you try and do right all the time. And kind. I was kind of choosing between fun and kind, because I like to be fun too, but I'm going to go with kind.
Love it. That's great. And genuine and integrity, I think, are very correlated and similar, and there's congruency in that. So I think now we know you a little bit better, which is part of what we're trying to do. Understand what it takes to be a $2 million memory maker. Unsung heroes. I know that it always takes a village to achieve phenomenal success. Who are some of the unsung heroes in your life or your world, and what do they do, or what have they done to help you?
Yeah. Of course, in my personal life, it's my family. I have amazing parents. I'm the oldest of 4 kids, and everyone has been so supportive. I haven't really seen them much this past year, but they call, and the encouragement they send. But in our work life, I think our REMs. I think we have Cassie as the one in Cary, and she's definitely an unsung hero. I think our customer care department. I know that they have their customer care appreciation weeks, but from a retail side, we just can't thank them enough. Of course, we have the Drew and the Twyla. They are behind the scenes, but it just takes a lot. It takes a lot to be in this industry and to succeed, and there's a lot that goes on that people don't see that helped me out in our retail team.
Awesome. So our company's word of the year is thrive.
Yes.
And some of us had to thrive like you last year. And we went from like survival in the pandemic to thrival or thriving.
Yes.
And so what does the word thrive mean for you? Like when you think about thrive, what does that mean?
So I think thrive is just moving forward. It's moving forward in a healthy way. It's really just growing and not stopping, just to continue to just move forward.
Forward motion, I love it.
Yeah.
What advice would you offer to a fellow memory maker to help him or her thrive this year?
Oh gosh, just be driven. Know that Gosh, there's just so much. There's so much involved in this whole career, but trust your gut and stay in work mode and get the application, the VIP application, and
Love it.
Yeah.
Other than getting the VIP application, what is the best advice you've ever received?
So there's two. There's one, work smarter, not harder. So I take that into my life as just being very efficient and asking the right questions. But also it just takes one. So I've been told that many times. It was Kim Pittman that told me in the very beginning. It just takes one guest to walk in for you to change their life or for them to change your life. And so I think I said that correctly, but
no, you did.
Okay, yeah. So I really stand by that. If it's a bad morning or, you have to kind of pick yourself up, it really just takes one person.
I really think that's where the mental game comes into play.
It is.
Not letting yourself get down, because giving your best to that next could be just that one, right?
Yes.
So what do you believe are the critical qualities or characteristics that most contribute to success on the sales floor?
It's hard work. It's, you have to have that, there is no ceiling mentality. So you don't have any blocks. You know that there is just no limit to what you can do, and you have to trust that.
Okay. And other than staying in work mode, which is great advice, and it could just take one, and these great things, to these self-affirmations, what other advice would you give someone who's just starting on the sales floor with us?
Be open. It is a commission job, and when you get that first paycheck, don't be happy with that one. When it's really big, don't be happy with that, because there's another one out there that's bigger. Just have that connection with your guest, because that's what's going to get you there. It's not because you sell a sofa. It's because your guests trust you and that sofa is best for them. I think that's really important as being new on the sales floor.
You've gleaned so much wisdom here in just 4 years with us.
Yeah.
But if you could go back to April 2018, other than don't walk through the front door.
Yeah, don't walk through the front door.
What advice would you give younger Leah Hayes in March 2018 or April 2018 before you started with us?
Gosh, I would say just get ready for the ride. You never know what's going to happen.
A global pandemic.
You just don't. And you have to be ready for it. You have to be prepared for if something goes right or if something goes wrong. So just be open.
Okay. And I think we're biased, but we believe our culture at the River is pretty special and unique. What do you think makes it special or unique, or what do you love about our culture at Broad River Retail?
So I love this question because I love the answers that I can give because of the experiences that I've had. I think with, the friendships that I made, just talking about Antoine, or just watching numbers with Jamar, going back and forth. He doesn't even probably know I watch his numbers, but it's a family. I was hearing from, like I said, multiple people encouraging that I hadn't met before. They were just emailing. But the most, I guess, memorable moment with Broad River was our Thanksgiving dinner. The first night, or the first year that I was here, I was invited to an RX, and that night we had Thanksgiving dinner, and we had a circle with all of the leaders, and that was a powerful moment for me. That's when I think I knew I had landed in a place that I wanted to stay and call home.
I think I remember that dinner, and I'm looking forward to doing more of those here in a post-pandemic world,
Me too.
right? Getting back to do the gala again and things of that nature.
Yes, me too.
People probably have a certain opinion when they look from the outside into a company. If they're looking from the outside, looking into Broad River Retail, what do you think would be one of the biggest misperceptions that they might have?
That we're just selling furniture. I think that they, even people come in, they're like, oh, I just want a sofa. And Broad River is just so much more than that. It is a lot of moving pieces. It is a lot of different departments. It's a lot of changes that have happened that you guys have made in the senior leadership that we don't know about, but it makes our job go smoother. But I don't think that we're selling just furniture, and people might think that.
Okay.
We're just so much more than that.
We aspire to be, at least.
We are.
So I'm glad that's coming through in some way. Sometimes change isn't always easy. Sometimes I wish I could just wave a magic wand and make things be different.
Right.
If you could change one thing about the company with the wave of your magic wand, your magic $2 million wand, what would it be?
So this is a tough one because it's a huge industry, and I don't know half of what goes on behind the scenes, right? So as an SM, as a sales manager, I would maybe look at some of the roles that we play as a sales manager. There's a lot that goes into it. We're there most of the time when the RAMs aren't, or the GM isn't, and we're still having to sell, and then also run the business, also deal with the guests that aren't buying. So I think, with all of the hours that are asked of the sales managers, with the RX days, and I would just maybe relook at that role.
Yeah, maybe it's time to, we love a good reinvention or change something, so maybe time to reassess what we're asking our sales managers to do today and make sure that that makes sense, and just to look at it from all angles. I think that's really, really good feedback. Let's say I decided to retire. And hey, you've done such a great job that we're going to appoint you as the president and CEO of the company. And today is your first day. What would be your first order of business?
So I think this is going to be very important going forward. If I were to have the keys, I would go ahead and get someone to start planning the gala for this year, because I think that's going to be very important now that COVID restrictions have been lifted. I think that we need to start now.
Get out in front of it. Well, should it even be a gala? I thought it should be a cruise, or
it's going to be something big.
It needs to be. We got about 3 years of celebrating.
Right.
What do you think are or have been the secrets to your phenomenal success?
Well, I think there's a lot. They're not really secrets, but I think just having the support of not only my team in the store, but the team in the company, my family. That really inspired me and motivated me, because I knew, like I said, that people were watching, and so I couldn't stop. But really just going back to that connection, going back to the focus. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's really not rocket science. You got to do it.
But I really think it's good to be repetitive, even if and it's good for others to hear it. Like, sometimes we just constantly have to remind ourselves.
Right.
We all know what to do, but we need to remind ourselves what to do constantly. At least I do.
Right.
Luck or skill? How much has luck or good fortune played a role in your success versus skill or your hard work played a role?
So I love this question. I don't necessarily think it was luck, but I did work very hard for this. I'm not more skilled than any other salesperson, but I work very, very hard, and I think that with the good fortune of me having the team behind me and Carrie, the good fortune of having Sam, as my GM. I think that played a role. It wasn't necessarily luck, like I was just handed this, but I was in a very good place. I had very good people around me, and I worked hard. So. And
Sam's now moved on to the Raleighwood, and you've got David Walters with the Crushers. How's that going?
Oh, it's absolutely awesome. I love having him on the team. It's only been a couple weeks, but yeah, we're gonna rock out this year. Absolutely.
No doubt, you guys will still be crushing.
Yes.
Mentorship is so important.
Yeah.
Where or from whom do you get your mentorship?
So, I think when it comes to this business, they, with me not being familiar in the beginning of it, I really had to take bits and pieces from people around me, but as well as my GMs. So I was, I had the honor of working with a lot of different personalities as GMs, like Carlson, Bradley Sullivan, Rick Rush, Sam, and now David. So those are 5 different people that are very good in this industry, and I've been able to really take a lot from.
That's awesome. What about your inspiration and motivation? Other than your family and your support layers, like where does your personal inspiration and motivation come from?
I think when I put my mind to something, I have to achieve it. It's not will I. I'm going to, and I just have to figure out how I'm going to. So I don't necessarily know if that's my inspiration, but it's my drive.
Have you always been like that?
Yeah, for the most part. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
We love this concept, originated with the 7 habits from Covey of sharpening your saw.
Yes.
And always being a learner. Like, how do you sharpen your saw, or what do you do to improve your skill set on a regular basis?
I really rely on people in this company, because if I have an opportunity or if I see a need, I will reach out in a heartbeat. I know, Chris Barrier sent me an email saying, hey, watch your secret sauce. And so I called him and we had that conversation. Or Stacy's coming down on me on my DC Plus. And so I'm talking to him about that. So I think really to sharpen your tools, you have to sharpen iron with iron.
Yeah, and be open to feedback.
Exactly.
Be coachable. I think that's so important.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to shift gears a little bit.
Yeah.
What are you currently binge watching?
So I love the Golden Girls.
Wow, the Golden Girls?
I do. I love them. I'm so sad that they've passed, but they are my go-to. I do a lot of Shark Tank, and I heard that Frank's going to be on it one day, so I'm excited to see that. But yeah, Golden Girls are my go-to.
That's awesome. That's so good. So when you're not working, or maybe when you're at your beach house, what do you like to do for fun or to relax?
So, I work night shifts, so when I get done at 9, the day is pretty much over. But in the morning, I like to go to the gym and enjoy my coffee and then get ready for the day. But on my days off, Wednesday, I'm heading down to the beach and coming back Friday. So that's my go-to.
That's awesome.
My nephews are there, so I get to go to soccer practices and see that world, which is great.
Well, you took a day away from the beach to be with us today. So I'm sorry to make you do that.
No,
but
it was good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Final advice. To someone who is not a memory maker and is thinking about joining the company, coming to the river, as we like to say, what advice would you offer to that individual?
To take that leap. I know that it was a leap for me. It wasn't something that I knew the outcome of, but I trusted my gut, and I would definitely recommend that for anyone else. I think it's the smartest move in their career path. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for taking the
Yes,
time to be with us.
of course.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been Stories from the River with Leah Hayes. She is a jack of all trades and a master of many trades, and she is our $2 million memory maker. She's the Pacesetter last year, home furnishings expert, sales manager, soon to be $2.3 million memory maker, and so many great nuggets and pearls of wisdom here for our friends and our audience in this episode. Thank you so much, Leah.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be cheering you on all year, looking
you.
for you to thrive even more this year, and I'm sure that you will. And please subscribe to our podcast. Look for us on YouTube or Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. And we bring these episodes to you every Wednesday. Thanks so much.
Thank you.